Here's the 0-1. This is going to be a tough play. Bryant, the Cubs win the World Series. Bryant makes the play. It's over. And the Cubs have finally won it all. 8-7-10.
Welcome to Club 120. The ultimate roundtable for diehard Cubs fans and lovers of all things sports and lifestyle.
Strike three, you're out.
Hosted by Neil and Nate, two former baseball players and coaches turned loud mouths with strong opinions and even stronger banner. Get ready for quick-hitting, time-answer segments packed with wit, laughs, and the occasional heated debate. From analyzing Cubs on-field action to diving into off-field drama, no topic is off limits. So grab your glove, pour a drink, and pull up a seat at Club 120, where the banner's quick, the takes are hot, and the Cubs always come first. Let's get started.
Play ball.
Hello, Cubs friends. It's 120. You know what that means. Time to grab an old style in a bleacher seat. You're in Club 120. Let's talk Cubs. I'm Nate, and with me as always is a man who never forgets how many outs there are in an inning. Neil, what's on today's lineup card, Coach?
Hey, thanks, Nate. And yeah, I never forget how many outs there are, but I do occasionally forget where I parked my car at Costco. But yeah, welcome in, Cubs fans. Thanks, as always, for spending part of your Thursday with us. This week's episode is brought to you by frustration, where reminding yourself that it's a 162-game season is the only way you can cope. Today's rundown of the show, topic one is complimentary baseball. The Cubs are currently playing the opposite of complimentary baseball. Pitchers give up runs, the offense goes quiet. It's a beautiful combination. Ben Brown tune-up is our next topic. Ben gets shipped to Iowa. Is this a demotion? Is it a developmental detour? Or just a really expensive Uber ride? Starters are getting shredded. That is topic number three. Our rotation has more holes than empty seats at Busch Stadium. Good news, though. Shota is back. Next, our fourth topic is full bullpen defined roles. The bullpen is fully stocked, which means it's time to ask, should we define roles or should we just let Craig keep playing spin the bottle? And our final topic before the topic of the week is fireworks and wet blankets. They're either launching fireworks or smothering their own rallies, like they're allergic to run support. And finally, our topic of the week, long season, big picture, 162 games. You can't win them all, and lately we're trying our best to prove that. What have we learned from this stretch of chaos? Settle in, crack open something cold, and let's break it all down. Nate, let's jump into our first topic, complimentary baseball.
Man, you're fired up today. I tell you what, I'm excited. I'm just going to try to be complimentary throughout this episode. And if we can do a little bit of that, we might go a long way. But, you alluded to it. Baseball's a funny game. It's all by yourself. You're either pitching or you're hitting or you're fielding it by yourself. Can't nobody do it for you. But yet you need help. You need lots of it. And the Cubs are really awful at it right now. And it's really frustrating and unfortunate because it seems like when they get a couple runs, it goes right back on the board. I mean, what an unbelievable string of 2-run home runs. How many of those did you call last night?
Yeah, I mean it's remarkable, really. I mean, you can almost pinpoint it that we've reached a place now where, and it's frustrating because I do feel like the starting rotation was something that we didn't see as a downfall really early on, right? Like, but it's almost like you can predict it when we walk a guy, it's gonna bite, like it's gonna come back and bite you. And I feel like early on, we did walk a lot of guys, but we found ways to manage it. And we found ways to, either buckle down at that point and decide, okay, now I'm going to miss a few bats. And I feel like that's a lack of something.
Mm-hmm. Well, execution's one, and some of it's pitch selection as well. You can question a lot of things about that. But here's the best question you could ask about that from a standpoint of, did we really expect Colin Ray and Ben Brown and Cade Horton and whoever else we rolled out after Shota and Justin Steele and supposedly J-Mo, did we really expect those guys to just hold up and just prop up the back end of this? I mean, they're 1 and 2 starters for a reason. You rely on them for a reason. And the reason that is, honestly, Neil, is because whenever they do walk a guy, they work around it.
Yeah.
And we just don't have that right now. We don't have a lot of stuff in there. And unfortunately right now to finish the other side of that compliment, we've got guys just not executing simple baseball stuff. When the game calls to hit behind the runner, they're just not doing it. They're not complimenting each other in the lineup, and they're not complimenting the pitchers doing their job or lack thereof and covering up each other's messes sometimes. And that's maybe the best, the one that made it all come together last night. And then I got one more little point here is Seiya's face after the J-Mo homer, right after Seiya put that 3-run bomb up. And he just looked back. He looked straight at the mound and was like, what? Are we really doing this? Like, we just ran away from these guys and you just went and did that again. They need to fight somebody. They're about to fight each other. But what they need, they're about to have a clubhouse fight. That Justin Steele last year when he went straight down the clubhouse or the dugout steps and just started yelling at everybody, that's coming. Or how about this? How about we just get in a fight with the Cardinals this week? Let's just go fight somebody else and like come together like as a unit and just be like, you know what? Screw these guys. Let's just buzz Arenado's tower or whoever. Just pick somebody, hit him in the thigh, and move forward.
Yeah,
blood flowing.
To me, this team, they're not losing because of one flaw, right? It's the pieces aren't connecting. Like last week, here we are again. This is the announcer's curse. I mean, you guys know we record this on a Wednesday, but Boyd's going to throw tonight. And the last time Boyd went out, Boyd threw an absolute gem, right? And he got 0 run support. So this team's not losing because of one flaw, right? They're losing because the pieces aren't connecting, and the offense doesn't know that there's a game the same day that the staff know. Like they don't all show up to the same game. So you've coached a ton of baseball in your career, and you're a lot of baseball games. Is this about timing? Is this about fatigue, or is this about something different?
Well, it's first heat wave.
Like the second part of that. Like, how can they reset the rhythm?
Good question. I think it's a conglomeration. Really, it's the first heat wave of the summer for a northern Midwest team. So they look a little zapped. They came off of a long road trip, came home for a long road trip. Now they're back on another road trip. And then it's just talent level, right? We're expecting guys that are only supposed to get us 15 outs every, few weeks. They're having to get them every week now for us. And Colin Ray was supposed to be a long man, and he's not supposed to do, there's just a lot going on, and it all is a culmination of all the factors. And we just don't have a dude, and hopefully he's here tomorrow. Shota is that kind of guy that says, hey, by the way, I don't care about the last few games. This one's mine, and let's go. And that's what we need. We just need something to stand up and just lock it back in place, and that's the case. We tried. We thought that PCA home run might have been it last week, and then the rain hit. It was like, okay, here we go again. So,
yeah, I hope we don't have to wait till tomorrow. I'd like to see Boyd just absolutely shut it down tonight.
That would be fantastic. I really do. If he's going to be your number three starter heading towards the playoffs, you need that kind of a moment from him today on a game where you've lost a few in a row and you need him to stand up. That's the kind of guy you need going in game 3 of the playoffs too. Whether you're 1-1, 2-0, or 0-2, you need a guy to deliver.
All right, moving on. Topic 2. Ben Brown has been optioned to Iowa. Is this a demotion? Is this a long-term move? Is it just a scenic detour through Des Moines with a side to figure it out? What are your thoughts here?
This move is about winning now. Ben Brown is a weapon for this year. He's young. He can come back next spring and compete for the same spot he just left. He can compete for that 4 and 5 spot. Do you know why? Because he has 2 elite swing and miss pitches. That's going to get you outs, and he's going to be impressive against anybody. You've seen him do it against big league guys, and you've seen him get lit up against big league guys. It's what it is. He's young. He's got 2+ swing and miss pitches, and that plays because we're gonna need him down the stretch. So whether it's a starter for 2 or 3 innings and not expecting him to get 15+ outs, or whether it's a come in second or he turns into some sort of a weapon. Honestly, Neil, I think this is about winning now, and it's about tooling up a weapon, and also probably giving him some focus on that third pitch because they do see him long-term being a starter. But right now, this needed to be fixed now.
Yeah, I would love to see Lance do a breakdown of this, because you said something earlier in the week that I think might be the case, because to me, Ben has always struggled with traffic, and he's lights out when nobody's on base. Absolutely dealing. Gives up a walk, gives up a bloop single, whatever, guy gets on, and it's like it just unravels. And
Sure.
you had when we had first saw the news and we were texting back and forth, you had made a comment that maybe he's tipping his pitches, and that being sent down might be something where it's like, hey, go fix this.
Right.
So, but
they didn't say it's an undisclosed time, right? So I think there's some tune-up going on here, and it was very telling, right? You don't give up 4 jacks with a runner on, seemingly on the first or second pitch, right? I don't think any of those at-bats went long. So they jumped. Their job was just to earn 90 feet. It seemed like they had a strategy. It was just get to first. And then once we get them there, we've got something to work with. And before their third base runner got to first base, it was already 4-0, and then they made it 6-2 or 6-1 at that point, and that was church. So,
I think up until like the 8th inning, they didn't even have a hit outside of home runs.
Yeah, it was a there's a very good possibility because of how much statistical analysis and video analysis goes in on this that he could be turning his glove literally 3 degrees difference for that breaking ball.
Yeah.
And they could see the label on his glove thumb hand, and they're like, "Oh, that's a curveball. Here it comes." And they're like, they spit on those and they stop swinging at it. Things like that go a long way for major league hitters. They only need 3 degrees.
Yeah, and it would be interesting to see that and to see if that is the case, because if he does come back and he comes back in a reliever role, the chances that you pitch with runners on base are pretty high. So that's something that you need to fix and you need to get addressed.
Absolutely.
All right, so moving on to starters shredded. The Cubs rotation's getting rocked just as Shota returns. But is that like showing up to a 4-alarm fire with a garden hose? Like, or is it? I worry about the mentality of the staff at this point. Like, I know these are professionals and these guys have dealt with adversity before, but man, outside of Boyd, right now these guys seem like they're in a fragile mental state.
Well, pitching can be like that. Let's start with a really good perspective question, though, because right now it's a good time to have some perspective as we go through a little strife. What team besides the Dodgers can lose their number 1 and 2 starters, one for the year and one for more than 2 months, and still lead their division?
Yeah, no,
So
the question is, will we be in the lead of the division at the end of the week? Like, things have got to change.
It's true. It's true. I do believe that they will, though. We're asking guys to do a lot, carry a load, maybe 1 or 2 levels above where their pay grade is right now. And up until about a week ago, they've performed admirably. And for 2 months, they've had to do this. So I give them all the props. They're learning on the job. Cade Horton just got here. Ben Brown's going to go figure some stuff out, which is great. Look, he showed us some things that he's capable of doing. But it's tough to just lose that consistency. I mean, those guys throw once, maybe twice a week sometimes if the week stacks up right. And when you don't have your horses, it's just so hard. Do you have expectations of a guy like Cade Horton coming in? Did we have it too high? Do you think it was too high, or did we have him properly pegged where he's at, and we're just disappointed in other people like J-Mo or we want to play the blame on Ben Brown or
no? The best way I can put it is I was listening to Lance Lance has the Daily Cubs podcast, and I was listening to him today, and I don't know who it was on with him. I think it was Zach. It was I think the guy from the Compound podcast that Ian Happ's on. I think that was who it was. I could be way off, but mentioned at the point when we were 16 games over 500.
Right.
From that point forward, if we would play 500 baseball, that's a playoff team.
It's crazy.
Right. And we're I think 5 of the last 6, but
right.
But I think maybe 4 of the last 10. So right around the 500 mark. So if you can just get to that, we were 16 games over 500 and then play 500 baseball from here on out, like you're a playoff team. Now, I don't like playing that way. I know you don't like playing that way. I like to win every day. I know you're the same way. But again, we're going to talk about this later. It is a 162 game season. And I think it's just the manner in which we're losing that is so frustrating, right? Like Do you think, before we round out this topic, do you think that this rotation can survive to the trade deadline without a move?
Are we talking a trade?
No, yeah, I'm talking about reinforcements.
Well, I think that's all just moving pieces. So I wish we could make that happen tomorrow. In a vacuum, this fixes itself by doing what we're supposed to do and make moves. We're not yet. So does it survive? Is the short answer no. No, it's a very tough. We need if Shota's back and he doesn't show any rust, then the answer is maybe. But we still don't know what we're doing with Ben Brown's position. So we still have a hole in the rotation. We still have an ace on the shelf with his arm cut open. No, we 4 more weeks of this, right? We have 4 more weeks of this.
Yeah, 100%.
We'd be 8 back.
I don't know that we'd be 8 back, but I mean, we had 2 months of 640 win percentage, and we weren't 8 up. So I don't think. But I get your point. So
it makes it tough.
I agree. I think we need somebody sooner than later.
But did we need a guy like what was rumored earlier on Wednesday, Mitch Keller? I mean, to me, that's just call up Jordan Wicks. If we're going to go after a starting pitcher right now, he's going to have to be better than Matthew Boyd, because that anything less than Matthew Boyd does not move my needle right now. I'm looking for a 1 or a 2 or a 3 starter for the playoffs here. I'm not looking for a guy that can eat 6 innings a week for me. I need a guy that can get 15 outs in October. So Mitch Keller does not help. Jordan Wicks can do that. We can have Jordan Wicks come here with a hot offense, give up 6 a night, 4 to 6 a night, and we'll fight through it. So no, that just screams we're more shredding. We're not capable of that. We need good meat here.
All right, moving on. The next topic is what is the next topic?
We're looking for
the full bullpen roles. Yeah. With a full healthy bullpen, do the Cubs need strict roles or ride the hot hand? Now that we finally have our relievers healthy, it's time to decide: do we assign roles or do we go with the spin the bottle approach?
So how firm are you on that spin the bottle approach? Because you've made some comments about that recently. You've made some comments about, usage or when to make changes. Let's start with the process of running the bullpen. Are you in full agreement on how these dudes are rolling out right now?
Here's the thing. I don't think, it's no secret. I'm not a big, I don't think that Craig manages the game as much as I would like him to. Okay. I'll say that. I don't think Craig, let's just be clear. I don't think Craig Counsell's a bad manager. I just don't think he manages enough. Like, I would like him to insert himself in the game more. I think he's a great baseball mind, and I'd like to see more of it. Okay. But at the same time, I get, he's probably considers himself a player's guy, and then he's going to let his players play, and that's all fine and good. But we're paying you a lot of money, so I'd rather you insert yourself and make some decisions. Now, as far as the bullpen goes, and the one thing I absolutely love about him that I did not see out of him last year is, like, if you come up and you lay a dog turd, you're going right back down. Like, we're not going to try and band-aid this. We're not going to say, oh, maybe it's just one outing. Maybe it was a bad. Like, he is very quick to put you off of this roster. Mm-hmm. Now, I like that. But I don't mind the way that the bullpen is, but I do feel like we don't make enough hooks in the middle of an inning.
Just to play the matchup, just to say, hey,
yeah. Like, I feel like we got between Theobar, Palencia, Keller, Pomerantz, and now Porter back in the mix, and I'm sure there's probably Flexen, Brazier. Is it Brazier? Yeah, right. Brazier. Like, I mean, we got some guys down there that, like, I just don't understand. It's like we put a guy out there at the beginning of the inning, and whatever happens, happens.
Right. Do you think that's his philosophy, though? Do you think he has averse to getting guys up and then back down and up and down, or maybe getting them up for a batter? They throw more pitches warming up than they did in the game. Are they averse to doing that? Now he's gone for 3 days or 2 days, however they do their metrics.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what it is. I wish I did know, because I would probably be a little bit more understanding of it. But I do, like I am giving him a really hard time. But I do feel like if a guy starts an inning, that's who's going to finish the inning.
Yeah.
Like whether we give up, we give up 4 runs or we see 4 batters, like it's that guy's inning to finish the inning.
So here's the topic, and this is back to the original part here, and the management to now the execution, right? So now it's full. Your top 4 or 5 guys are in order, or not order. They're here. Your lefties are in good working order. Everything's working now. Supposedly, Porter's now back. Do you believe that there should be roles in a bullpen?
Traditionally, I have, but look, this group has changed my mind a little bit.
Okay.
Because, and I even wrote down, like, my question to you was, is this bullpen a band of specialists, which, again, you have the 7th guy, you have the 8th guy, you have the 9th guy, or is this just a bullpen of dogs?
It's a good question.
When I open the cage and set your T-bone out there, it's your time to go eat.
Well, we've seen some flashes of the both mentalities here, coming from interesting sides of Twitter, even at times from some family members thinking that there should be some roles. I think Craig's done a really good job of putting himself in a position to say, when the door opens and the phone rings and it's for you, those are your outs. And if you don't like it, just like we move the guys quickly because they have a dog turd outing because they weren't ready to pitch in that level, if you're mentally not prepared to pitch in the 6th inning because you're the 9th inning guy, you're never going to see the 9th inning. And I think that's where Craig just plays the leverage. Also, back to your point from earlier, we don't know the metrics or what they're using, right? I think that's a huge part of how that inning goes. I think they just look at this. They have this sliding scale of percentages that says, here's what they hit against righties. Here's what they hit against lefties. Here's what they hit against a slider versus a breaking ball, right? And they say, okay, this is a Thielbar type 6th inning because there's one lefty and these 2 guys suck at lefties too, righty, right? So I think that's what they do. I think they just look at it and they say, we don't make that call because we know Thielbar's our hammer right now. They make that call because Drew Pomerantz actually matches up better than Thielbar in this moment on paper. And to this moment, what these kids have done have embraced that. And that's why this has been successful. Honestly, the things that we don't know and that we don't see, and our old school brain coach mentalities, we have to check that at the door sometimes. And that's hard to do for me and you. Honestly, it's hard for me not to yell bunt at the TV, but they're looking at a spreadsheet that says, and in fact, there's probably somebody down there that they don't even have to do it. They say, hey, here's your 3 best guys in this situation. And here's they don't have to look at a list of 10 guys. There's a computer program already spitting it out. They're looking at that iPad going, okay, let's get flexing in here. And they're like, okay. And it's all mapped out. It's not mapped out, but it's not gut feel and like, who can give me 3 outs anymore? And that, we grew up on that age. We coached in that age. Who can give me 3 outs? Go get them. All
right, moving on. Fireworks and wet blankets. Cubs offense is all or nothing. Big innings or momentum killers. They score 5+ runs in 1 inning. And then, 2 innings later, we got 1st and 3rd, nobody out, and we're, hitting into a double play to end the inning or whatever.
Right.
What's more frustrating for you?
The approach. The approach to Major League hitting is the biggest frustration for me at all times. And it's never not there. It's never not there. The constant launching, the no backside hitting, just here's the best way to put it. I think Major League Baseball hitters sometimes appear aloof to situations. And the home run mentality or the ability to just beat the ball up at any point in time has changed the game of baseball. And unfortunately, the baseball gods will continue to test you over and over and over again, whether it's stuff that you can't lift out of the yard because it's just better than you, or the situation just occurs where the umpire sticks you on a call and now you got 2 strikes, hit behind the runner. All those tests just come randomly, and we are routinely failing them right now. And it's just keeping us from stacking good at bats. It's keeping us from threatening in multiple innings a night. Once a night we'll break through. And that's why we have those explosive things. Because honestly, Neil, we just don't do the little things well. And when the little things don't go well, it's hard to keep doing the big things over and over and over and over again. Hitting a home run is hard. It's hard.
And I will say, let's exclude Nico from this conversation because Nico is a professional hitter.
He is a professional hitter. And his power numbers are trending up.
And yeah, they are. But I do feel like if there's one guy who is always, I feel like Nico's not only just aware, like Nico's hyper aware of the situation and what needs to be done. And if you need a ground ball to the right side of the infield in this at bat, that's what you're going to get.
Yeah.
And
no, you can tell he'll even spit on pitches, or he won't pull a ball when he, like even in that bat and strike one, he won't pull a ball on purpose when there's a guy there.
Yeah.
He's actively. So let me ask you this question. The lineup can be what it is. There's going to be 9 of them in it every single night. Do you believe that how you build your lineup can consistently produce, or is it best to just stack them up how top to bottom 1 through 9 type of a deal? What lineup shifts, honestly, Neil, would you make right now to this lineup to build more consistency?
Yeah, I would like to. I mean, obviously, I've not been quiet about this online, and I think most of Cubs Twitter anyway, I haven't seen anyone disagree with the notion that Dansby should be not in the 5-hole. I did see some people saying it should be Michael Busch. I don't care if it's Michael Busch, and I don't care if it's Nico. Personally, if I'm making the lineup card, it's Nico all day. It's Nico all day. In fact, I would almost venture to say he would be right up there with RBIs. If Nico was hitting in the 5-hole all year long, I think he'd be right up with Seiya in RBIs.
It's an easy one to agree with. That's not a hard point to agree with, honestly. Just the 2-out hits, the blue pits, the backside hitting with a runner at second base and 2 outs. I mean, gosh, yes. Because who are those guys? That's going to be a Tucker, Seiya, or PCA in front of them. So yeah, that's an RBI all day from second base on a single to right with 2 outs. Or he's cleaning up the mess where, Pete goes after ball, pops it straight up to the catcher 3 at-bats in a row. Next guy up, slaps a single and extends the inning. Let's move on. There's just not a lot of that right now in the offense, and that's what kills you. That's what kills you. Guy goes after a ball and he misses it. Okay, next guy comes up and he tries to double down and go, watch me hit it even further. And that's not how baseball is built. That's not how good offenses are built. We can slug with the best of them, but until we get the lineup tuned up right and those guys complementing each other, passing the baton again, it's going to be real tough. We're only going to be seeing crooked numbers once or twice a night, and hopefully that's enough to overcome these pitching performances that are giving up, 4 or 5 scoreless, plus innings of scoring for the other team.
Right. Okay. Our topic of the week. We are here. It is a long season, big picture. This stretch stings. It sucks. But it's part of a 162 game grind.
Yep.
How do you think the Cubs grow from it?
Well, let's start with some perspective, because we've talked about it all the time, right? We're trying to be not negative. I'm telling you right now, if you look at our texts between each other, nobody's happy in this household. Nobody's happy in this room, this little box. Nobody's happy here. Okay, this is no happy homes here. But it's 162 games, so let's take a quick look around the league. The Cubs 4-6 in their last 10. The Yankees are 3-7 in their last 10. The Mets are 1-9 in their last 10. Okay, we ain't jumping out of buildings yet, and nobody is in New York either. Okay, so good teams have bad weeks. It sucks. You don't want to see it. The last thing you want to see is something like last night where PCA just went aloof for a minute. That just shows that, man, we're in the middle of something. Like, that was the cherry on top of just a crap week. And hopefully Wednesday they come out and they flush that deal. They've been good at that. But I'll tell you this right now. I'll put this out right now. Neil, the Cubs are a playoff team. Okay. There's a period at the end of it. There's no maybe. The Cubs will be in the playoffs this year. So it's time now to take a look at what the big picture is and how we get there. Okay, this is just a scuffling week of baseball. But my playoff theory is you need 3 starters that you can trust for 15 playoff outs. The rest is going to be TBD. Okay, and that's fine because you need weapons, and we're developing those, and we're working on that. So here's my question. Who is your number 3 starter right now if the playoffs started today? My personal belief, I don't think he's on this roster.
Yeah, no, he's not. And I'm really anxious to see. I watched Shota's outing in Iowa.
Mm-hmm.
I'm excited for him to come back. And like, as far as I'm concerned, Boyd can just keep dealing. But I got one. I got one for you. And this is probably more. I am not at all into moral victories. I don't like everybody gets a medal sort of thing. But there is some you can't win them all, but you can learn from every loss. Mm-hmm. The question is, do you think at this point that the Cubs are learning or they're compounding?
Well, if you take the first month of the season, you think they learned a ton. If you look at the last 3 or 4 weeks, it seems like all those lessons are falling apart. So what they do next is very important. I think we both are in agreement that this roster needs some supplementation to get there. It's not that they're not a playoff team. It's just we have expectations of playing deep in October. So we're not here for a 3-game play-in type of a mentality and a moral victory, if you will, right? So it's time for Extend Jed to do some supplementation of the roster and learn from some mistakes that we're making currently, which is we're expecting guys that are playing above our original expectations to keep doing it. And it's not possible. So
Right.
We need to get some extra pieces in here. And then we just need to develop a better strategy. Like you said, let's see Craig manage the game better and more. Take control. It's okay as a manager to be in control of the game. Yeah. I think that he does not do a good enough job of that. And we're seeing that mentality just play out on the field where it's like, go get him. Like, this isn't good enough. Don't wait till after the game to talk to him. Let's just go ahead and do this now.
Yeah, no, I think every team hits turbulence. I think it's how you respond to it that matters more. And the thing I would like to see that we aren't privy to is behind closed doors, who's showing leadership right now, who's rallying the troops, who's saying, "Hey, this is a terrible freaking week, and it ends right here." So I'd love to see that kind of stuff. That's the kind of stuff I love, but I'm sure Taylor will do some piece on it tonight or something.
Sure. You mentioned something last night about the PCA play, which kind of stood out. And you got me thinking, because as a coach and a former coach and doing this a long time, would you as a coach have pulled PCA?
I would not have.
Would you have if he was 17?
Yes.
Okay. So Pete's earned the right to screw that up and stand in the middle of the locker room and own it, right?
Well, here's the thing is I feel like, Javi Baez did the same thing, I believe in 17 or 19. I can't remember when, and got benched for it. And I think rightfully so. So the question is, how are the situations different? And last night when you and I were talking about it, I said, to me, there's zero doubt in my mind that when they walked back in the dugout, it was 100% ownership.
Okay. And
it was not, well, this happened or that happened or, well, this or that or that. I think it was 100% ownership. And I even saw in his post game last night, he said, like, I was not good at playing the game of baseball today. And I mean, whether it's people that are traveling on the team plane asking you the question, that's going to go out there. You got microphones in your face and you just own it. Like, that's a big deal for a 23-year-old kid, I think.
That's a good reason why he's got a good chance to be the face of this franchise for a long time. And I think at some point there's going to be, like you said, needs to be some more ownership of this. And hopefully we're in a position where, we get to watch this unfold. But the reality is they got to watch it unfold too, because it's only one guy at a time doing this, right? And so as a group, they all have to root for each other and get behind it again and find that baseball is fun mentality. We're all looking forward to it, honestly. I want to be entertained again. This is. I don't mind losing entertaining ball games, but I do hate losing frustrating ball games when you're not playing baseball good, and we're not playing baseball good.
Yeah, look, man. Bottom line, let's just go beat the Cardinals. I saw on SeatGeek today. It's a 5-hour drive for me to St. Louis, but I saw you could get a ticket for $4. So, they're really setting the world on fire over there.
I think that's what the ticket prices were for Wrigley when it was 14 below.
Right. Probably not. Probably still more than that.
90 in St. Louis, folks. It's not that big a deal. Get out and go watch your team. Like, are they not a baseball town anymore? Maybe we need to do that for another section. Maybe we'll put a pin on that for the next Cardinals episode. Is St. Louis a baseball town anymore? Tune in next time.
Absolutely not. Nothing short of a beer town, I think. But that's it for us. Thanks for watching. As always, thanks for spending part of your day with us. Be sure to like, subscribe, follow, tune in wherever it is you get your podcast. We are on all social media platforms at Club 120 Show and online at www.club120show.com. Go Cubs, go.
Go Cubs, go.
This has been Club 120. Neil and Nate have practically spent their entire lives doing something centered around baseball. And with these guys, you're going to get quick-hitting, time-answer segments packed with wit, laughs, and, yes, heated debates. We hope you enjoyed the show. If you did, make sure to like, rate, and review. We'll be back soon. But in the meantime, you can find us on all social media platforms at Club 120 Show. And, of course, the website at www.club120show.com. Until next time, go Cubs, go!